Hi, it's Dr. Parikh, and we're going to talk about writing about statistics. So statistics are tricky. They're always tricky. They're always going to be tricky, but they're even more tricky because most of you haven't taken a stats course yet. And so this is all, I'm giving you terms that you really don't understand yet and telling you, well, just kind of do what you can with them. Number one, you can always Google for things. You can always do a quick search to learn just a little bit about something. Number two, use your APA manual. Use whatever Sukman can tell you. Use the workbook. Do your best to learn the basic rules. And sort of the most basic things I'll tell you are that italics are important. That's true anytime you're talking about something with statistics and numbers, including your measures section of that method section. So know that you need to, when you're writing about a scale, just remember, know that there are rules that need to be looked up. And that may be the best advice I can give about APA style in general. I know APA style for the courses that I teach, especially for the literature review section. I know it forwards and backwards. I can write a journal article citation freehand in my sleep. But every once in a while, I still will completely blank on something with that. It's rare, but it happens. But if I go, 2 steps outside of my comfort zone, if I'm talking about a book chapter or even a whole book, I don't remember what the rules are. I have to look them up every single time. And I only know it forward and backwards because I've taught this course and similar courses so many times now. But the first time I taught a course with a literature review paper, I printed out OWL's sample paper. I printed it like 4 sheets to a page just so I could see like what gets bolded, what gets indented, because I could not keep it straight and I had to keep looking it up. So you learn by doing, but know that to some extent you're always going to have to look these things up. Even things you do all the time. Every once in a while you're going to blank and say, wait, how do I do that one? Does that get bolded? Is there a comma or a period? It's hard. And it's not that you have to learn how to do it all, perfectly by memory. It's that you have to learn your weaknesses and learn just to be humble enough to look it up every daggone time. So you've got so some of the tricky ones, t-test. The T is italicized, the test is not. And that carries true for a few tests in statistics. Similarly, P is italicized. When you're talking about p-values, you do not need a 0 before the decimal point. And by need, I mean it should not be there. So you don't put a 0, you don't put p below 0.05. You put p-values below 0.05. Let me switch over. That's not what I want to do. Is that what I want? Yes, this is what I want. So you can write it as like a little formula, p less than 0.05. The spacing is important. It's important that there's a space between the p and the less than sign, and it's important that there's a space between the less than sign and the decimal point. You also, let's see, I don't make you use the symbols for mean and standard deviation, but know that they do get italicized when you use them. If you chose to write in a very kind of different way and use those symbols, just make sure you're using them correctly. Find examples. And don't just Google for an example because lots of people are wrong. Look in the APA manual. Look on the APA blog. Look in the workbook for examples. Trust no one. Make sure that you are correctly, pay attention, take time to correctly categorize. Does someone does a variable get a mean and standard deviation, or does it get frequencies and percentages? If you can have twice as much of something as someone else, you probably need to report the mean and standard deviation for it. Those are the main rules for how you discuss things here. In the method section, there's some times where you're listing how many people you have. Just know that there's a rule for everything and look it up. As you're doing the workbook, as you're doing the APA quizzes that are in Blackboard, keep track and maybe even have a place where you write down funky APA rules that you might want to remember. Good luck. May the APA odds be ever in your favor. Thanks. Bye.